Ready?
Well, Martin Del Potro to begin.
Enough.
Plenty of love and affection shown for this man wherever he goes, to be honest. It's not just here in New York.
That's the one I was talking about. That starts clicking. It does two things clearly. If it's as crisp as that, it's a clean winner. But also push Del Potro, who is a tall, lanky man, but he's not the quickest guy in the court. Over to the forehand side, and that exposes the backhand side, of course.
That's yours.
Pretty similar numbers in terms of aces, double faults for both men. Wawrinka at 32 aces, 16 doubles. Del Potro 34 aces, just added one to his collection of double faults at 14 now.
Ooh. Wonky old miss time. It's almost like it hit a bad bounce, but I thought there's too many of those out there on a hard court.
Halep tried to put a few dents in this court.
She did.
She would have lost a few $10,000 at Wimbledon. You can't hit that court surface like that. Here's a break point for Stan.
Yes.
Both men been broken just 7 times in the tournament.
I know it's early days, but for me, that backhand return there for Wawrinka, he needs to almost develop something in between that slice and then the full-blooded hit. And that's what happens if you don't get it exactly right. It's popping in the middle of the court. That forehand is something else.
Awkward moment, down break point, navigated safely, up and running for Del Potro. And it is something else. One of the beautiful things about this sport is the different technique. We've touched on it a bit this week in terms of how much being a great player is 5% technique, 45% physical, 50% mental. And you look at two great forehands here, both equal kind of speed as well, Pat. 76 miles an hour on average for Stan, 77 for Del Potro. But it is a shot, Del Potro's, that it'd be tough to coach, actually, wouldn't it? It's a natural hit.
That would you say? You have to keep your hand up and rotate around. That's, I think, where Stan needs to do quite a bit of attacking. Get the backhand side and sneak into the net. Force Juan Martin to hit the passing shot with the two hands. The slice is not going to do much damage.
Well, the forehand looks in pretty good nick early on here of Wawrinka's. Again, just take a look at Stan's take back on his forehand. You'll see his racket face from this end turn, and you'll see the side of the racket he's actually going to hit with the strings in your picture, whereas Del Potro very much up, back, side on.
There's going to be some entertaining points like that. Stan watching the ball come down, wasn't too sure where his opponent was standing, if he'd run across the baseline or not. And that was a bit of a panic shot. Frustration not putting the smash away. He likes to hit a lot of winners, Stan. Keep going for them. A bit like Serena Williams, really. So if there's things aren't going right, start missing some, doesn't matter. I'll just keep swinging hard and go in eventually. Del Potro is like that too, very much like that. When he was in trouble, he just kept swinging harder. He had the big backhand a few years ago. There's the rope-a-dope. Just suck him in. It's like playing against Jimmy Connors. He hit that flat ball that skimmed over the net, and you said, this I'm just going to chew up. And you made a couple of mistakes, and it got in your head, and you started getting angry, and started pushing the ball around, and then you're in big trouble.
Stan could be in big trouble here. Del Potro made a first serve break point down in the opening game. Stan misses his. He's as shocked as everybody else. As flat as that forehand looks of Del Potro's, and as sort of modern as Stan's looks, it's actually the Argentinian that has more spin on the ball. Revolutions per minute.
That miss hit like he does there, he tends to do quite a lot of those, doesn't he? Again, the final against Federer here. Before he settled down into that final, he was spraying them literally into the second row, the second or third row. Just wrapped it around the racket and to go flying off. Undeterred, he kept going for him, and
well, Stan getting caught a little deep behind his baseline and struggled to catch up to the ball that was a little shorter than perhaps he predicted. And it is Del Potro that's off to a fly.
Del Potro leads.
That's a fantastic forehand, isn't it? He gets around so quickly for a big man. You think of guys who get around on their forehand, protect their backhands. You typically think of a Spaniard or a South American, but a little guy who's quick on his feet and zip on his toes. And he's a big 6'6" lanky guy. He's got great footwork. It's very hard to find that backhand.
Big smash, wasn't it? 30 love up, he was cruising. Would you advocate patience with Stan tonight in terms of going into that double-hander of Del Potro?
He's got to be patient. I mean, I think this is one of Stan's issues, is that he likes to hit a winner. He sees the ball there, and sometimes I don't think it's on, and he goes for it. But if they all go, this is how he wins championships. I mean, it's a tricky balance, and he hasn't really found it against Del Potro in the last 3 times they've played. Do you just keep going for those shots and hit winners? Or do you just be really patient and move the big fella around? Once he gets onto that forehand, you're on the run. Slice.
That's 15.
I'm not sure if we've got a stat here on missed returns on first serves, but he's got to tighten this up today if he's got a chance. This is too many second serve returns as well, Stan, this year.
It's that shot that's been in and out, unreliable for the championship so far. You can find it mid-match, but it's not going to be easy against the pace that's coming off Del Potro's side of the court.
For me, that's a better return. It wasn't the sort of chip block one that could float, hit over that top. That was a good punch return. Had a little bit on it. I'm sure it wasn't, right at not like a Djokovic where he hits the baseline or hits the guy's feet, but at least it had something on it.
And again, same kind of return.
Yep, nice punch block.
Yes.
Got it deep enough.
It's almost 10 miles an hour down, Pat, in terms of return speed for Wawrinka compared to Del Potro. So, like you said, that kind of return is huge. It's just taking away a bit of Del Potro's time for once. I don't think either player heard that.
Must have just touched it. Get rid of that rule. I mean, that's just ridiculous that you still have this rule.
Quickest serve of the night so far for Del Potro at 129.
Advantage Del Potro.
Quick start for Del Potro. Confidence certainly resurfaced for him since his return to the tour. 3-love up against Wawrinka. It's not unknown territory, of course, for Wawrinka. This is his 4th consecutive year that he was the shot that saved him against Dan Evans on match point down. A shot that Magnus Norman told me that he'd been working on very hard with Wawrinka. Always nice as a coach, isn't it, Pat, when you see a shot like that on a big point work.
Come out. Yep. Yeah, well, hard work on the practice court, and anybody can hit a spectacular volley or when there's nothing on it, a practice match, or 40 love up, or whatever it happens to be. But match point down, save his tournament.
Going to see more of a blend from Stan on his serve. Can obviously get it up into the 130s. He's at a 132 mile an hour first serve. But in general, he'll mix it up a little bit. He's averaging about 109 in the tournament. Where
all up. You know, I think it's one of the most underrated serves, that Wawrinka serve. And once he can really pound it. But you know, variety can go a long way by mixing it up. So in that last game, he mixed it up a bit and threw Del Potro off.
There's a
block seconds, block return. You know, if that speed that's coming off from Del Potro and the height as well, it's sometimes really tough to get that slice to perfect position consistently through the whole match. And that time got it over the net, but in the middle of the court.
Looking at Del Potro's placement all the time, Pat, on the deuce side, he's pretty much 80-20, 80 down the tee, 20 out wide. I asked John McEnroe the other day, is that the kind of average that you feel percentage-wise that will keep an opponent honest, 80-20? Just enough serves out wide to keep allowing you for the majority of time to hit in your favourite one? Or did you feel you needed to mix it up a bit more than that?
I did, personally. I said a lot of balls into the body as well. That was one of the main things for me. So I didn't have 6'6" height and long arms, and I could hit that over that low part of the net right down the middle, almost at will, like Del Potro can. Go for the ace. He's clever, isn't he?
And he's quite simply brilliant. And at the moment, it's irresistible from Del Potro at the start of this encounter. What a rally. 4-1.
Now Stan's playing. He crunches that down the line. I know he went for the one before, but
different height of ball, though, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was a perfect opportunity. And get the big fella on the run. Open up the backhand. In you come. And his lack of, I don't know, maybe it's pain or whatever on his double-handed backhand, he's not going to hit a big passing shot.
Well, he's landed a couple of telling shots up the line there. That's just going to put a little thought into the process for Del Potro in terms of how to protect his baseline in those type of rallies. Good to see Del Potro leaning into that double-hander on the return there. You know, as you said, Pat, at Wimbledon it was just slice, 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 and on the grass maybe that's the right policy for him, but there's no question against the top guys he's got to rediscover some of that backhand speed.
Yep. He's got to be able to put a dent in them somehow, or get down the line. The same, why not do the same shot that Wawrinka used during that game? What are you talking about? I think it's the most underrated shot in the game is the backhand down the line. Ooh. In fact, I was when I started coaching Mark Philippoussis in '95. He was a talented player, and people said, "Wow, you worked on his tactics." He hit every backhand cross court. I said, "Go down the line, get in the net. You got the court open. You're a big guy. You're fast, and you volley well." he used to hit just cross court all the time until he got to the forehand, and it was made to look like a genius, but it was just it was an obvious thing to me. It was really obvious. Just go down the line sometimes, and it is huge success just from. Anyway, you've had to work on his volleys and other things, but that was the main thing in the ground stroke. I didn't touch anything. We didn't. It's just he could do it. He just didn't do it technically. That's the one who wraps around the frame. I quite got to the bottom of why that happens. It's the top of the racket and then the bottom of the racket. It's just a weird one. I can't work it out. Yes, he got to the back end, didn't he? But it took pinpoint precision to get there. Set the ball up nicely. Got to do it regularly, though.
Good move into the net there from Wawrinka. You can see how he just pivoted off the front foot there, got his right foot so he can quickly get to net. Often these days you'll see everyone with a semi-open stance, and half the time they're almost pulling back and left leg's going back, and then it takes another step to get going forward. Perfect movement.
He got there again.
Well, he's some physical specimen, Wawrinka. He is so strong and powerful around the court. And Ollie second game out of 3 that he's had a breakpoint opportunity on the Argentinian serve.
That's a big second serve. Takes a bit of guts. Very brave.
30-40.
Doesn't do it often, but he's hit one second serve in this tournament at 115, but he was pretty close to it with that one, and out wide as well.
Riding his luck, but figures why not? I thought my career was over.
Ooh. Oh, that is a shot that he likes to play, but to play it and execute it on break point, never easy with a little extra tension on it. And Wawrinka recovers the breaker serve. Back on serve, 3-4. Towel to sawdust for his hand to try and dry it out.
Late dinner reservation, perhaps?
It's going to be late, that's for sure. Which is that's
lucky we were in New York.
Beautiful thing about being in this city, that's for sure.
I hear it never sleeps. That's the rumor.
The rumor is you never sleep.
Not at least late night matches we've been doing.
No one's naive enough to think that, Pat.
15 up.
I'm too old to do that. Playing Legends doubles match.
I thought you meant sitting next to me.
That's the highlight. That's the highlight of my life. But my tennis career is the doubles tomorrow. That's. He's struggling a little bit. He's relaxed a little bit off the returns in the last couple of games, having made the break. He thought, well, I'm just going to hold on to that. I mean, subconsciously probably, but struggling to get the returns going.
swing and a miss from Stan, and a little pressure building once again on his serve, courtesy of those unforced errors.
Now, I saw Stan quite a few years ago before he went with Norman. I thought that he needed a shot in between. I thought he overhit that backhand too often. Like that. I mean, you know, it's a powerful shot, but you know, sometimes just taking a little bit off the full follow through and 100% swing just to put the ball into the corner with a bit of height would be enough. Ooh, jeepers. So, well, Stan played a little bit more safely then, wanted to make sure he didn't make the mistake, and it was almost a little too safe, straight onto the big weapon of Del Potro, so got a bit of luck there.
Advantage Wawrinka.
There is Magnus Norman.
World number 4, world number 2.
Yeah.
Didn't quite get there. Finalist of French Open. Yeah, he could thump a forehand and backhand, that's for sure. Oh, that's strength.
Game, Wawrinka. Game zone.
A little bit easier to do it on the forehand. His forehand tends to be a little bit more inconsistent, though he hasn't shown that today. Go out to that forehand knowing that he could just do that and smack a winner. Or do you go to the, generally speaking, a more consistent backhand?
Definitely feel as though he'll cheat over a little bit against Del Potro. I know he's got the serve out wide and he can hit it, but boy, you almost need to make him think that you know that he loves to go there, especially on a big point of the game.
So you're saying just move across
a little bit. I mean, you can
inches?
even, to be honest, Pat, you know better than I do, but the ball out of his hand, as soon as it's out of his hand and he can't see you, you could just shuffle across at like half a step.
That's the other thing about this play, about Del Potro. He's got very good volleys. He's got a big reach. He's got good technique. Doesn't miss too many of those, generally speaking, but he has a little bit of late forehands running. Good
news is, Pat, he had a bit of a tight shoulder in the match against Team. We were a little concerned he was actually going to pull out early on in that match, and ended up ironically being Team that couldn't continue in it with a leg problem. And well, so far so good in this match. We haven't seen the trainer or him holding it to any degree.
Wow. Believe me, folks, that is a really tough shot. Running around into a ball that's skidding onto you really quickly and having to hook that topspin. You can see around the outside. It's a different follow through than Nadal's. It's a more traditional forward and up. Nadal's would have been behind the head. Same result though. A wonky ball toss. Well, that's what you call a bit of luck. He was about to wear that right into his chest. Not a great drop shot. Stan knew was coming, and that was just a... And Wawrinka thought, well, he's going to go straight down the line there and try to do his best to put him off.
He could have taken care of business there, couldn't he?
He's a nice guy. He's really very popular in the locker room. Maybe that's why. I'm not sure whether I would have done the same thing. Gotta be honest. Or Van Lendl, definitely not. He's famous for hitting players if he could possibly. Oh, some court coverage here. Great chasing from Wawrinka.
Good couple of exchanges in that game between these two. Things heating up nicely as we head potentially towards a tiebreaker in this opening set. Del Potro assured of that. 5 minutes time, across the 11 p.m. here, New York time. I was saying about Del Potro's ranking at 140 coming into this tournament or thereabouts in the race, which is obviously a better indicator of this part of the season. He's 51, so it just gives you an indication of just how well he's played recently, that he's getting back to those sort of levels. He'll probably sit even if he lost this match. Had a good opening set. He was the one that had the early break. But it is Wawrinka who delivers the first ace of the match.
And painting the lines with the, there we are. Guillermo Vilas, the US Open champion at Flushing Meadows,
77.
Forest Hills on the clay. Australian Open, two-time Australian Open champion, Masters champion, former world #1, and he would love that forehand. He was also a man who up until recently had until Federer took it over, had the longest winning streak. He lost one match and then won another 20-odd matches after that. And the match that he lost was to Ilie Nastase with a double-strung racket, which was banned the very next day. So he would arguably, and it was in a final, he lost in 4 sets on the clay. So he would have won that match. Arguably, he would have won a 60-something match winning streak.
Clean as you like from Stan. It's an attractive brand of tennis that he brings to a tennis court, and he's exhibited all his skills so far and his desire as well to recover the break. So who is going to be victorious as they come out of this tiebreaker? Season to date has been pretty decent for both men, to be honest.
Still giving that hip a bit of a working over.
Thank you, quiet please. Thank you.
Nope.
Each tiebreaker you play, Pat, different, or did you have a formula?
1-0, Wawrinka.
Well, my formula was just to get to the net and put pressure on the guy, serve and volley. I mean, depending on what the court was and the opponent, but I pretty much tried to start out serving the first serve into the body, the first couple of serves into the body, making sure that I got the good first serve in. It is about playing, really knuckling down and not making any unforced errors. And if you have to pull out something spectacular, you have to. Oh, it's a miss hit again. I've seen 3 of those. This time not into the front row. Caught on the bounce by the ball boy. Not a great start, but only the 1 point on the serve that he's lost. Del Potro. Whew. How about a heat?
10 miles an hour quicker than his fastest so far. That was at 134. Always expect the unexpected when this man's on the court.
3-0. Wawrinka.
Not perfect start. Big pressure on Del Potro. He just ideally gets 2 of these points, but 1 would barely be enough. Oh, bit of a miss hit volley. Wobbled around the frame, that one. But he had the open court. So it was actually
Stan with a little look over to his box here, perhaps trying to get confirmation to stand up. Loves to go deep at times. So good from Stan.
Well, he's saved his best for the tiebreak, hasn't he? I mean, that's about the best point he's played the whole night. Will stand at his best power and using that backhand to pull his opponent way out of court. Sneaking in to finish it all off.
He's certainly ramped up his speed on serve in this tiebreaker. Hasn't landed them yet.
He's got 1 back. 4-1 looks nice and juicy, doesn't it? With a serve to follow. They can quickly turn around. There's quite a bit of drama, wasn't there, in the Olympics? The fans came out and were cheering like it was football, and the local Brazilians did not appreciate that at all. There was a bit of a punch-up, wasn't there, in the crowd?
I believe so.
Thank you.
That was a crucial first serve to make. Never easy as well when you get your rhythm interrupted by that, having to change ends and get down the other side.
Back edge of the line, and Stan's challenging it.
Del Potro with a little look to the umpire to see whether he was going to allow the challenge, whether it was early enough.
Del Potro's questioning it, so he thinks he might have hit it out.
Exactly.
And Stan missed it and realised, thought, why not challenge? The argument with the umpire as well, saying that was too late. I don't think it was too late. He challenged pretty much straight away as soon as he missed the ball. Why not? So a hole here that makes it pretty interesting. Big one down the middle, Patch. Seems to be doing that pretty regularly. Didn't get it. very good.
Was it?
No holding back, wasn't it? Because that wasn't a bad return. That skimmed over the net. It was skidding. It was low. It was that sort of return is better than the one that's floating, and even though if it's deep.
Such a short distance for Del Potro to generate that much power and control with the way that he hits the ball. It is a truly special shot.
Nope.
Surely he's going to have a little challenge here, is he, Del Potro, or not? He's elected not to.
He got on his forehand. He knew he had to. Wawrinka's been pushing him back pretty consistently, not allowing him to take the big swing on the forehand, especially on Wawrinka's serve. That was his half a chance. He went for it, just pushed it wide.
Del Potro saves the set point with an acutely angled pass. Wawrinka perhaps, Pat, here deciding to go into the forehand. There's an element of surprise to it.
6-5. Wawrinka.
It's just very good, and I think when he's, well, in many ways, look at Wawrinka hit the forehand, didn't realise he didn't hit it as well, and then just resigned to the fact that I'm just going to hope that he misses this one. He didn't really lunge after that one. He was sort of just hoping he'd miss, and not too often he does on those. Oh my goodness, that was a big serve. Sounded a lot faster than it actually was.
Well, he makes the difficult one, and then he misses the one that he generally makes time and time again. But the pressure of the moment gets to Del Potro.
Says it all, doesn't it?
And he's a set down. A long way to go for the Argentinian. The opening set will cure any ailments that Wawrinka has right now, but he did have the doctor out and took a pill for the first time. He's had the trainer out already, given a little massage, so still not things 100% for Wawrinka physically, but in terms of the scoreboard they certainly are, and that would be a bit of a disappointment to Del Potro, just the manner of which he lost it off the forehand side, because he had struck early, got the break, but Wawrinka showed great heart and commitment to the cause there for grabbing the opening set.
Yeah, he just started finding the rhythm with the backhand, didn't he? Yeah, it looked like for a while there he was in a bit of trouble, spraying consecutive backhand errors. But then, as he does, he just tends to find the range. And if he's able to get it into that backhand corner, Del Potro, it neutralizes the point, really, doesn't it? And he hopes that he can get a short ball. But really, there wasn't an awful lot.
Thank you.
In that set. Del Potro would be a bit disappointed he didn't get the double break.
The one thing he'll be pleased about was the fact that he did drop the opening set to Wawrinka at Wimbledon and came back to win the next three. He's done it once before against the Swiss star. In that match in Madrid in 2009, dropped the opening set there 6-4 before winning the next 2-4. So he's overcome a deficit against Wawrinka, who actually hasn't managed that.
(30-15).
Talk about a bludgeoning point. These guys are absolutely smoking the ball. And there's one player that... It's ridiculous. And he...
40-13.
I think there's one player that Del Potro can't hit off the court. Probably Novak and maybe Murray. At the moment, Stan's got the power to match him.
Oh my goodness. Well, Del Potro's going to the challenge, but I'm not sure he even saw how he's laughing.
He cancelled it.
Yeah.
Cancel challenge. Game Wawrinka.
It was a
First game, second set.
extra set missile that he's just launched off his strings for Wawrinka. That might just be the hardest forehand struck in the tournament. What a game.
Yeah, they're just up there. It's like just two fighters and they're just launching into each other. Two boxers just throwing haymakers at each other, left, right, and centre. But I don't think even Djokovic would be able to hit with that much power back. He'd be hitting it to certain positions, but not. And Stan's just stood up. And he had to stand up today. And said, "Yep, I can do it. Whatever you throw at me."
Well, I said you can sometimes find your rhythm mid-match, and well, Stan has struggled a little bit off that forehand wing so far in the tournament, but he's stayed alive, he's stayed involved, he's got himself through to the quarterfinals, and on the evidence that we've seen tonight, that forehand has arrived finally in New York.
First service.
Nice volley. For as big as his serve is, and the height that he gets, Del Potro, he hasn't served an ace. And he's only serving at 61%. I mean, kind of surprised me. He really does. He should be up, nudging 70, really, shouldn't he, with that sort of height? Not aces, but percent.
15-all.
Just got his face across the ball rather than through it and up with the left hand again. Probably partly still regaining totally the confidence in that shot.
The way Stan's middling it at the moment. Flirting with disaster to lose an early break. Well, he won that battle, Del Potro, but
Felt like a bit of a macho battle out of kind of alpha males, didn't it? Like, I'm going to beat your door down on the forehand side. I mean, Stan, it looked like had a shot up the line there that would have made his life pretty comfortable.
As big as the Del Potro forehand is, Stan's definitely matching it. I didn't think it was possible. It's a good serve. I'm going to ask you, is there a bigger forehand on the circuit than Del Potro's? Consistently.
40-13.
Sure there is.
Team gets up there.
Gonzalez, since Gonzalez retired.
Stan's about the most even in terms of forehands and backhands in general. Well, it was a big point in the end. One that they went toe-to-toe, forehand to forehand, strength to strength.
One game all.
Del Potro came out on top on that rally and ultimately the game.
The crowd is about half full, isn't it? I think a lot of people thinking, well, they should head home, but this is pretty good tennis.
15 off.
Starting match, of course, from Serena Halep. Maybe gave them as much as they wanted tonight.
Ooh. Well, been really reluctant to go into that backhand side, and he's certainly maybe a part of the process is just keeping Del Potro honest in the middle of the court, going to the forehand, and maybe as the match develops, he's going to, on some of the bigger points, hit it into that double-hander side. Method to what Wawrinka's doing out here.
Well, it's the one you were just talking about, Petch. He's made a mistake to go to the forehand a couple of times. And is it just a choice of picking your favourite shot, and that was the cross-court forehand when it was short? It doesn't matter if it goes to the guy's strength or not. Another great catch from the ball. Did you see that? I wonder if he's Australian. You can sign him up. Just when he tries to put a bit of oomph on at that back end, doesn't he? He hasn't got what he used to have for whatever reason. Those wrist surgeries certainly wouldn't help. A little bit of roll over the top of that one.
Said at Wimbledon, because I spoke to Danny Pavardou, who's now working with Dimitrov, but he just hooked up briefly with Del Potro at Wimbledon, saying that he's not feeling any pain in that left wrist, but obviously just a bit of confidence and psychologically trusting it again.
Absolutely.
He came back in Del Rey. Pommard and Del Potro started Stuttgart, first round at Queens. Round of 32 at Wimbledon. Looked a little jaded against Bowie, and obviously the final Olympics. I just wonder whether mentally he's got enough in the tank.
Yeah,
I'm not sure,
Wawrinka.
because physically, looking at his route through here, it's been
New ball,
reasonably
please.
okay. But mentally coming back, playing these big
Wawrinka
matches, has he got enough? Wawrinka at the moment in the ascendancy, up a set and 2-1. Substantial advantage of grabbing that opening set, but 51 points to 48. Always gives you the impression at times, Del Potro, that he looks on the verge of the tank being empty energy-wise, but always seems to have a substantial amount left. Good to see a lot of fans piling back in, actually, at 2-1. Obviously, they're kept out for 3 games. I just, for the life of me, don't understand why at One Love the fans aren't allowed back in. It's a long time to keep paying spectators outside the stadium. Brought in, obviously, the rule because they try to speed the game up at the start of the set. One Love, you change ends, but I mean, as we all know, it's a change of ends where the players just stand up rather than sit in their chair, but it pretty much takes the same amount of time. So why they don't let the fans back in, I'll never know.
Love.
Dirty Love. Stan decided to go for a bit of a exhibition trick shot almost there. I think that's looking into the President's suite. USTA President. Which I was invited to today, except I'm here with you because you mean much more to me than that.
Wow, you got one of those upgrades. You know, like they give you an upgrade.
Game. Potro. Two games
You
on.
didn't even know it. There's his first ace.
Yeah, amazing. His first ace.
When you've got 2 power players like this, Pat, see the little well, the new racket, actually, of course, that was one of the issues that he had when he won in 2009 the next year, is that he was running out of the old frames that they were no longer making. In fact, got down to just 3 rackets, and it was a pretty unforgiving racket that he had as well, strung tight, which one wonders whether that also contributed to some of his wrist problems.
Well, could have.
I was just going to say, 2 power players. Is it at this stage, is there an awful lot of strategy that you feel is out there on the court, or is it just who hits the ball better?
I think you come in with a game plan. You basically come in with a game plan, and you got to execute it. And most players just tend to go for their favourite shots, and we often see that in the pre-match interviews. Oh, what's your tactics? Well, I just got to play my game, and that's true. And if you execute your game plan pretty well, you serve well. And a lot of men's tennis, of course, is based on a big serve. If you get the big serve in, you got a good hit at the second shot. Perfect example. Thank you, Stan, for making me seem somewhat intelligent. And it's the other way around when returning. You just try and get the serve back if you can, and then the second serve you have a bit of a chance, and that's when you can possibly impart your tactic. Whether it, certainly for us, our guys, it was our area was attack, serve, volley, chip charge. I mean, there's not an awful lot of tactic involved at that point.
Well, not only did Magnus Orman inject a bit of pace into the forehand side when he came in, but he also improved the accuracy on serve. Needed there for Wawrinka. I think just during the change of ends, not a full medical timeout for the time being anyway for Del Potro.
What do you think about that? Getting a massage change of ends.
Fine. I mean, there's a lot of fans here, Pat, that have dropped you know, four-figure sums on some of these tickets. I mean, if it means him continuing, then I'm kind of all for it. Tennis is striving for its place in a sport, entertainment, business world, and you've got too many people dropping out. We've had enough this tournament, let's be honest. I'd rather try and see Del Potro play.
It's a grey area.
Well, the one area I do think is that at the end of the set, you can have one bathroom break in the match, one. And at the end of the set, if you want to take it, you get a penalty. So it makes you think, do I really want to take it? Do I really need to take it?
Oh, it's a good point, that one. For me, the really grey area is loss of condition, because you can't get any treatment for loss of condition. And what defines loss of condition? I tend to think that if your legs are sore and you're tired because you've been running around, because the opponent's run you around, that's loss of condition. And, you know, the opponent's done a good job, but I don't want to see a player pull out, so it's a really grey area. And I think almost anything beyond the third set should be regarded as loss of condition unless somebody really twists their ankle. And that's when there should just be two fighters out there. He's not easing back, is he? I mean, Stan was willing to stand up there toe-to-toe for a while, but Juan Martinez just got the edge now in the power stakes. Well played. That's how to exploit the backhand. It's done perfectly well. And good technique on that forehand volley. Didn't do much as far as the wrist department. Look at that, just punched straight through the ball. That's how you hit a forehand volley. No risk with any breaking in the wrist. Volley's actually quite solid. You think there's maybe a little influence from Krajicek over the Wimbledon period, working on the volleys? Who knows?
Well, I know that Magnus, well, they were supposed to obviously go to the Olympics, but then Stan obviously hurt his back in that match with Nishikori in Toronto, went back to Switzerland, had to do a little bit of work on the rehab, but spent a lot of time practicing there. And as I said earlier at the start, on the volleys in particular. smash may have won in the point, but it was the slice back and down the line that was absolutely gorgeous.
Again, down the line, backhand. Hit well,
Yes.
opens up the court. Of course, this is going, it's got to be good because it's straight onto Del Potro's strength. And more often than not at the moment, it has been good.
It's so hard from such a variety of heights, Del Potro, that for him, doesn't it?
Whoosh. Good time for number 2.
And the fastest serve of the night. Good news, the shoulder obviously isn't too painful. Not inhibiting the speed. Say, Del Potro may have sucked him into challenging for this one, just his reaction on it. Almost had a look down to say, yeah, I think it might have got a piece of line.
That old trick.
Yeah.
Big point too.
Advantage there, Potro.
Didn't make much difference.
Game.
Now 122 angled away from the height that you are when you're hitting the ball.
3 games old.
Del Potro's perspective is going to win you a lot of points. Everything we hoped it would be. Nip and tuck. Couple of breaks. Still everything to play for.
That sort of stuff won in the US Open. Very competent around the net. Good touch shot.
Love 15.
What a lunge volley that was.
He's got a nice wide base, hasn't he? 6'6", but he gets a nice wide base with the feet. So, I mean, just one step. Look, just watch Del Potro here. Little chip, wide base, one step, half the court.
And to have those long legs, isn't it? In that situation, for sure. Well, he did enough, didn't he, Del Potro? Just got it down uncomfortably.
Love 13.
Tough shot to hit that half volley. He's going to have to has to hit it very skimming over the top of the net and pretty close to the sideline. If he pushes it deep, which is the safer option, then Del Potro will just be running straight onto a forehand, no matter how close to the corner it was going to be.
That's why you never want to overplay an opponent's weakness. Stand getting joy getting into the backhand side. Del Potro had to guess one way or the other. Where Stan playing deep is actually hitting that ball on the way down. It's tough to generate enough pace, and to go down the line is the danger that that's going to happen, and it's happened a few times, and it's happened at a critical time here.
Thank you. Quiet, please. Thank you.
First break points of the second set.
Quiet, please.
Yeah. Oh.
No.
I think he realizes he's made the mistake there. He pulled off the point. He will lose it. If it hits the line, there's no replay here. He doesn't look too confident, does he? No, he realised it. Oh, my goodness.
Unbelievable.
Oh, good call from the linesman, you've got to say. I mean...
This time, the forehand is long, and no need to challenge it either. But the challenge is increasing for Wawrinka as Del Potro grabs a break in the second, 4-3. What the situation is, and Del Potro has that in abundance at the US Open.
Of course, he did come from a break down in the first set. Stan to bring it to a tiebreaker. Things weren't great in the beginning of the match, and then just all of a sudden started clicking, and I'll say that was a little bit of a loose game by Stan's high standard, or certainly by the standard he's been producing in the last half an hour. Well, they're not easing back, are they? Stan's not easing back at all. As good as his backhand is, it's power-wise, it's almost better for Del Potro to be getting in to the backhand side.
Just for at times, he's lacked a bit of width cross-court on his backhand stand, like to get it onto the double-hander of Del Potro. It looks as though he's been just a little central with that particular shot. Del Potro's been able to sort of loiter around just off centre to get the forehand into play more often than he perhaps should have done.
15 on.
Well, that's what turned it around the first set, wasn't it? He just started getting it into the backhand corner. Potro not happy with that, because it's let him back into this match, this game. Double fault that he loved. He'd been pretty confident to be one game away from the set. Oof. Isn't that funny? Worked so hard to get the break.
15-13.
Just ease off. Double fault number 4 in the match, 3 in this set. Not sure about the serve.
That's yours.
It comes and goes a little bit, that success on that lock return on the forehand and the backhand for that matter.
Again, there you can see Del Potro looks so comfortable where he is on the court, like he doesn't feel as though Stan's got enough to go down the line to beat him, and he's not getting it wide enough.
Yeah, he's just got a lot of power on that forehand. It's hard to do anything with it than just to get it back into some position, and that's why I think Stan was standing up there going, look, I've got to really make a dent in you, push you back a little bit. They're swinging hard.
Game. Del Potro leads 5 games
Well
to
done.
3.
After those 2 double faults, to regroup quickly. Come out with 2 very good points. And that's what champions do. Players at this level should be able to do that pretty well.
Stan will be looking to try and hold on to his serve nice and quick here, put the pressure back on Del Potro.
He can tend to play quickly, can't he, Stan?
Yeah.
He almost rushes the opponent. But Nick Kyrgios does the same sort of thing, doesn't he? Gets on a roll, gets up this serve quickly, bang, 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 next point, next point. Barely gets the other side. Of course, you've got to play to this server's tempo. And Del Potro
30 love.
just lopes around between the points, doesn't he? Sort of seems to be quite slow. He's actually not that slow. He looks slow between points. That he's always ready. American commentators complaining about how slow he was between points. In actual fact, he isn't that slow. He's just very relaxed and slow looking. Long moves in him across the court pretty quickly, even walking speed. And it's all about the next game for Del Potro.
Del Potro leads 5 games to 4.
This second set is on Del Potro's racket right now as he'll come out to serve for it. Wawrinka, who's yet to carve out a breakpoint opportunity in this second set, with Del Potro serving at 54%. So maybe he'll get some looks at second serves. What can he do? Because he hasn't done an awful lot so far in the match, to be honest. 64% of second serve points won for Del Potro in the set, 63 overall. They've both actually been incredibly protective of their second serve in the match. Got to find that two-hander. Got to direct that traffic on the back end on the second serve more into Del Potro's two-hander. The moment he gets a sniff on that forehand side, he just doesn't relinquish the point.
Saw the gap, didn't he, there? Well, Potro. That's the gap I need. There wasn't much from that angle, actually, was there? Because it's always going to come back in to Wawrinka from that wide, so he had to hit it really hard. He knew that, and he had to hit it with precision. And got the hard bit right. So you're saying in that rally, then he's just gone just the backhand. I mean, why go down the line?
I just think that he doesn't need to be fearful. There's no backhand winners from Del Potro. And that forehand there, he's not going to hit a winner. Del Potro moves too well off that ball. Just don't lose the point from it. High into the backhand side. Know it's coming. Like I said, almost 90% of those balls are going to go cross court. Get yourself in the backhand corner. Start working away from there again.
Ooh. Well, we at the corner of his eye, he saw Wawrinka head that way. Going to put him off, or he realised he needed to go a little finer. Either way, it looked like a poor mistake, and probably was at this stage of the match. I'm going to set him up 2 set points. Has to work a little harder before that set point turns up.
He's challenging it, but he's not coming away with a reprieve.
Ball was gone out.
Try to do the high shot up the line into the backhand, but just didn't get it quite right. I'll take it back. Good challenge. It's certainly from having sat here for this many days now. From that angle, it looked wide, but reprieve he got, and I lose a challenge. Big moment.
Walter's way too far in front then. Fell on that one. I was saying it actually was worse luck for Wawrinka, because Del Potro turns up with a first serve, but so it evens out now. Oh, it skidded off the back line. You think he just got himself tangled up there, Del Potro. He got himself out of the way of the ball too much, and it's hit the line and skidded right underneath his racket. Can he do it again? Can he break back? I think that barely touched the net as well. I think Standard started to push that one back into play. Anyway. Beaten with pace. Gets the side right, Wawrinka. It's hit as hard as that. It's, even if you've got your racket on it, it's hard to control.
He went for his least favourite serve on the ad side as well, so credit to Del Potro. He landed that and the big forehand. Deserves to get out of trouble.
Second service.
I think he's going to be unsuccessful. I think
on the left baseline.
Potro
Ball was gone out.
A bit of luck this time. Give him a set point, but I shouldn't speak. We're getting it wrong all the time. So can you believe this? And Del Potro cannot believe it. He cannot believe it. Or he's just disappointed by the call. Either way, he shouldn't be too concerned, because that was, I mean, that ball skidded off the back of the line, so That was a very good shot again. Wawrinka would be pretty. He'd be the one to be upset there. He's hit the great shot.
I mean, honestly, who would be a Lions person? I mean, these two are crushing it to within millimetres of the line, and you've got to get that right.
So he's got the first serve again, Delpo. Very good play. We haven't seen that yet today. Taking the short ball early on the backhand into the open court. It's quite a time to try something for the first time in the day. This tight game to try and draw it to settle.
Phenomenal footwork from the big man as well to get himself in position a couple of times, backing into that backhand corner. Set point. Oh my! Yeah. We got
Direction was good.
He had everything.
I think everybody's exhausted. Everybody's tired. Well, we've just hit midnight.
Replace the point.
Bedtime for the linesman as well.
Well, Stan's accepted the overrule from the umpire. But again, I mean, got to say it's a thankless task being a linesman, but that was back edge as well. It's not easy. It's a fair scoreline, given the opening couple of sets here, that we're tied at a set apiece. Del Potro thoroughly deserving of that second set. 6-4, he's got it.
Time.
At the scene of his greatest triumph back in 2009, a little mini success for Del Potro in this encounter between these two as he grabs the second set. A little frustration for Wawrinka. And still, as you can see, is a pretty warm night. As Pat said, we've hit the hour of midnight as we move into the next day here. At times it's been a bit of a quiet US Open in terms of classic matchups, and then we get to the second Wednesday and they all come rushing towards us one after another. Wawrinka still having a debate with the umpire about some of the line calls that have been going on. No argument in terms of the outcome, because each player had enough challenges to check that they were correct or incorrect. But what is indisputable is that we are a set apiece, and both men still have a couple of sets to win if they're to progress through to the semi-finals to take on Kei Nishikori.
30 love.
It's winner number 26 for Stan. And 17, only 17 for Del Potro.
That's 15.
Short, swift, and very effective. That type of tennis from Stan. Just bludgeoning another winner past Del Potro. His 11th off the forehand side to 8 for Del Potro. Still no winners off the backhand side for the Argentinian, and so still no clear winner in sight between these two.
Yeah, with the lack of power and the ability to hit backhand winners, you think further down the line this is going to come unstuck because he's just not been able to because he'll be drawn into longer matches because he has to keep playing the points. Looking further down the line, of course, that default from Team helped a lot. But do you think he's got enough in the gas, in the tank, Delpo, physically?
He seems to have pretty good endurance, doesn't he? I mean, you look at the match in Rio and kind of against Andy after he'd played against Rafa, and you felt as though he's going to come out there and he's just going to be running on vapors. And he
looked exhausted in the first set, didn't he?
Yeah.
But he kept going.
Yeah. So I think he's going to be okay, to be honest. I think also the players that he plays against, his opponents now, also expect him to last. You know, I think probably in the past there was a sense that this guy's going to run out, but he's proved it too often now that he'll stay the course. I just worry, the fact that, you know, this comeback this year, whether mentally the toll has been quite great, but
well, that's a clear indication, isn't it? He might even got the signal from his coach, or he realises, listen, I've got to break these shackles. I lost my confidence a bit with the one backhand down the line. Let's shake them off by hitting a couple of big ones.
It's not an easy shot, Pat, though, is it? No, it's not a lot of margin for error on that one.
No, but he can do it. Ooh, tried it again. Yeah, it's whether he can consistently do it. And that, if that you heard the old talked about rope-a-dope, sort of sucking him in, slice backhand. He tempted him a bunch of times in the first set, and he went for it. So he hit 2 hours, and then that second set, that shot disappeared, didn't it? He just lost a bit of confidence. He thought, no, I'm not quite there. Even though I should be able to hit that for a winner. Put it right into the corner and get Del Potro running. It's a very, very effective slice backhand. Certainly one of the best on the tour. Trying to think who'd be better. Murray, he's a very good one. Most of the players hitting double-handers, but Roger Federer's is not bad.
Essential shot, isn't it, these days as well?
Just going down the ranking list in my mind of what other players hit the good one. Lopez is pretty good. He doesn't have a great backhand, but it's good slice backhand, left-hander.
Well, set it up beautifully, just couldn't convert the opportunity when it presented itself.
New balls, please. One game on.
Well, a game that started promisingly for Wawrinka ends up going Del Potro's way comfortably. Well, just gaining confidence, it seems. That one shot where he was willing to take it early and come in.
It was a big point, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Good depth on that serve. Potro having a good look at the serve, thinking, should I challenge that one or not? Skidded through the line.
That's enough.
Well, regardless of what happens at the US Open, Pat, it's returns like that off the double-hander that just gets all of us as fans excited about Del Potro.
Indeed. Yeah. He's great to have back on there in the circuit, isn't he? And obviously with Nishikori playing so well, Stan can be, obviously he's always a threat. This is good tennis, isn't it? Baseline to baseline stuff.
That's yours.
It's interesting. A friend of mine was chatting with Roger Federer not that long, only last week. Maybe 2 weeks ago. I grew up with him as a tennis coach, and he asked him about who he thought was the best backhand on tour. And the result might surprise you. He said mine. No. He said, he said, Roger, what do you think? Andy's or Novak is a better backhand? And he'd never met Roger before, but he'd been introduced to him, and he just sort of blurted out, oh, by the way, what do you think? Who's better? Backhand's better. I've forgotten the time to finish this story. Maybe
save it for when we come out of the changeover. Stand up, 2-1, third set. Impressed.
He's trying to get a cold ice pack to put around his neck.
It is, the towel was there with the ice in it, but obviously not cold enough. You can see he's
all melted. Has been there sitting there in the fridge all day, and he's got a good point. This is you're giving me a warm thing to put.
J'en avais une bonne avant, ils l'ont viré. Mais quand je sors blonde, tu te marres, tu rigoles. Putain, ça fait 2 heures qu'on joue. Transfert pour info, c'est bon quoi.
The anger he needs to channel in a positive way. Said that Del Potro should be up at 70% if first serves in, and he currently is early on in this third set.
That's nice. Haven't seen that shot yet. Well, you've seen him just thump it into the other corner. It was very simple Didn't have to change the grip too much. Doesn't have an extreme change. The forehand grip. Western style grip.
Almost feels like it's an Eastern style grip as well. Do you want to put everyone out of their misery about the double-hander, or?
Oh, I forgot what he said now, my friend. No, so he just randomly asked, and Fred didn't say a thing. He thought, oh, I've just upset him here. And it took him about 30 seconds. He said, good question, actually. He said, oh, great. He goes, yes, Andy does this a bit better. Novak does this a bit better, but Kei Nishikori's is the best for me. Since you just don't know what he never misses, and he can just do anything with it.
Well, he's the second person. He's the second person that said that. Simon said that earlier this year.
So there you go. And going on the match today, I doubt that Andy Murray's got anything to argue with that perception.
Deceptively fast and well balanced as Del Potro. Look at this. I mean, that is a good dig. He just couldn't quite control the racket head to just put it down the line. In fact, maybe he was going cross court. There was a gap opening up behind Wawrinka. You've got to move back to the middle from there, and maybe just try to flick it cross court. Couldn't quite get the angle.
Oh, we like to see players do that. Almost all the time, they'll pot the net, make sure the ball didn't get down too low.
Paints the line with another serve, his 7th ace of the match. And it brings up a 3-2 lead in the 3rd set in this last of the quarterfinals on the men's side of the draw. Perhaps to announce to all the fans in the upper tier to sort of kind of move down. I don't think there's enough seats empty in the lower bowl here in the Arthur Ashe Stadium court for that to happen just yet. But oh, he almost stole that away for Wawrinka.
It's enough.
So good from Del Potro, isn't it? He's defending that backhand so effectively.
It really is a very good shot. I was thinking the same thing during that rally. You always say, well, why bother coming over when they're effective with the slice backhand? And it would be good to hopefully in the future see him get enough confidence to come over and hit some winners. And it's predictable, as you say. He just goes cross court all the time, but what are you going to do about that?
Yeah, because he volleys well, as you said. He's got good technique, he's got good balance, and he defends in it. Even the little short slice to bring him in on your terms doesn't feel like it's that good a play against other players. You feel like you could utilize that, but That's what will happen if you do. So you are a bit limited with your options. And we've seen Stan have scarce success of going down the line with the slide. I mean, he generates so much pace. I mean, twice in that guy on.
Yeah.
This is where sort of theory and reality sort of diverge, isn't it?
Yes.
You've got the theory, he always goes cross court, why don't you do this? But actually in reality it's completely impossible to do it.
I mean, for me, one of the players in my career, and you would have caught him as well, is Stefan Edberg. I mean, in theory, he hit to his forehand. His forehand wasn't that good. He didn't make many mistakes with it, but you couldn't get to his forehand. I mean, he was good at returning, and then he was in the net, and he smashed the backhands everywhere. And he was to get four. You knew if you get 4 or so 5 high balls to the forehand, he'd miss one. You think he could get 4 or 5 balls to his forehand? No, never. I think of all the times I played him, I think I was successful on slow hardcore once to get more than 2 or 3 there. I say the same thing about John McEnroe for that matter as well. Another player. Even to this day, when I play him in the Legends events, I think I just get that ball up a few times, and no, I'm on the run before I know it. Edberg, of course, was a 2-time champion here, back-to-back. He beat Jim Curry in one of them. What was the other one? I'm trying to think. Mats? I think it might have been Mats.
Easy hold. Potro chasing in this third set from behind. 3-4.
Patch, put me out of my misery. I am flicking through this book that's got every stat known to man, except I cannot find who Stefan Edberg beat in the other one.
So career in 91, Peter. You're a hard man to please.
You know what they say. Oh, I think I found it. Sampras beat Agassi in 90, and Edberg beat Sampras in 4 in 92.
First crack in the rock-solid backhand of Del Potro. Again, don't mind that play. He's trying, instead of going over the top of it,
Trying to slice it low over the net.
30-15.
It's just so hard to damage Del Potro when you go to the forehand full stop.
Heavyweight hit down the line. There's been precious few when Del Potro's been serving from Stan's point of view, but he's landed one there.
30 all.
And he's just
Yes, nicely done. His success is really, in this match, has been based on how many times he can get to that Del Potro backhand.
That was a masterpiece. Could not have played the point any better. He'll take his first break point of the set. He couldn't have played a much better point, but once again, Del Potro keeps him at bay.
It's the old rope-a-dope, isn't it?
Yes.
Del Potro says, I'm not going to go down the line. I'm just going to keep rallying backwards until I get to that forehand. it's an amazing, simple tactic. It works so efficiently. No. Shouldn't be missing that, especially at this stage of the match. And he had break point to serve for the third set to go way back. Plenty of room to hit that backhand in. Does this? It's a bit too often. Oof.
Yes.
Five in the match. First one in this set. 3 in the last set. Couldn't come at a worse time, really. Break point down, probably worst time. He's got it.
It was a really measured pass as well, wasn't it? He can really put the velocity on the ball, but there he just stayed with it. Went for control rather than power.
Beautifully well balanced. Well, I thought he was going the other way. I'm sure you thought he was going the other way. And Stan thought he was going the other way to the backhand.
Yes.
I mean, how good's this, Pat?
I mean, even in slow motion, that looks fast.
And it's just skimming the top of the net. He's got a slither of the court to hit it into. He's break point down on the cusp of losing the set. He is unplayable at times.
That's a relatively easy one compared to the others.
A bit reminiscent of the opening set. Set point down when he missed the forehand at 6-5 in the breaker. He is fallible, apparently, on the forehand side, occasionally. A couple of break points already, served both down the tee big. Where will he go this time, Del Potro? It's too good.
I'll tell you what, that takes some guts. That really takes some guts and a lot of skill. Again, not like some of the other players who got the really extreme forehand grip. He was just a little slide around as his racket was going back. He just loosened up his hand there. Wow.
Set up on the car on the right service line.
Come on, Hawkeye. Hawkeye Petchy.
Well, I've got. Well,
you're down to 2 challenges.
It's out.
Advantage.
He's been fearless and flawless on the 3 previous break points in this game, Del Potro. But sustained pressure from Wawrinka. Perseverance, power and placement, and Wawrinka gets the ultimate reward with a breaker serve that leaves him serving for a 2-1 lead.
Fantastic backhand down the line. He's used that sparingly. Points to his temple. I'm not sure what that means.
Some shot. One wonders whether maybe this has been a pretty punishing 2.5 hours out here. Intense. Neither player's got away from the other one for any period of time. There's been no respite from the intensity.
You're shaking. We're shaking our heads here. The forehand that hard off a half volley, coming that hard at you. The timing is phenomenal. One thing is, if you're a cricket player, you can just block it down straight into the ground, but you can't do that in tennis.
That's 15.
Well, he's going to come at you. Well, they're both going to come at you, but it's Wawrinka out-muscling Del Potro at the moment in terms of winners. And he's got the disguise to boot, and at times we wonder why he has this affection around the world, Del Potro, but tonight, once again, you realise why. It is a...
Beautiful.
And this has been perfection for Wawrinka here in these couple of games. He has not put a foot wrong.
40-30.
And he closes it out in style, and once again the finger goes to the temple. A magnificent effort mentally. And he is 2 sets to 1 up on Del Potro. Look over to his camp, and well, maybe that's a sign that he's not feeling 100% there, Del Potro. Just banging his legs and almost giving the sign that he's a little empty physically. Stan's chairs empty, as a few at the top tier of this Arthur Ashe Stadium. As you can see, he's taken a break, Wawrinka, after capturing that 3rd set. And what a climax it was to the 3rd set as well. That was some wonderful tennis being displayed by both players, but particularly Wawrinka managed to elevate his play to a place, to be fair, where if he can continue to play that well, he once again becomes the talk of a major tournament in terms of potentially winning it.
Yeah, like I think what he's really impressed himself is the intensity. He hasn't really gone away. You know, he hasn't necessarily made, at least in the 1st set, he made a couple of backhand errors, but he tidied them up pretty quickly. And his intensity, the pressure, as you said, it's been constant. As we see Delpo taking something on board. I'm not sure exactly what it is. It almost looks like a antacid for his stomach or something. So we have a little look at the stats, and they're going to be reasonably even because it's been so tight.
Apart from second serves, Pat, that set, Del Potro was down at 3 out of 10 second serve points won. So credit to Stan when he got a look at the second serve, he made something happen. And that's also a free-wheeling and big.
Yeah, he's able to hit the backhand winners, of course, and which Delpo can't hit. That's not much in that one.
Yeah, 9 backhand winners for Stan. He's got 6 extra aces, 9-3 as well. So you know, that's 15 extra winners. If Del Potro could hit the winners on the backhand, and fair play to Stan for nullifying the first serve of Del Potro to some degree in terms of aces, that would be 39 for the Argentinian. So that's the difference between the two. It's not a lot, but it's enough to force Del Potro to have to come from behind.
As you said, he's going to play Davis Cup. He's going to turn up for the Davis Cup. Argentina still haven't won the Davis Cup, have they? They've gone close in finals so many times. Argentina versus Britain in Glasgow. In a week or so, isn't it? Next Friday week.
Week on Friday.
Well, he didn't put the ball away. He was so close to the net. Any remotely decent lob was going to win. There he is, and he closes, and more than a remotely decent lob from Stan.
Just looking at Juan's 5-set record, he has come back from 2 sets to 1 down a couple of times. Obviously and memorably in the US Open final against Roger, and then in the Australian Open 2010 against James Blake. Oh, he's done it again, and that off the volley this time. Some nice touch being displayed by Wawrinka, but he has actually lost his last 7 5-set matches.
Interesting. A bit of luck there from Stan. He apologises. Drew Del Potro into the net. Couldn't do much more than scrape the ball back. And that bit of luck has put him in a good position. Well, Wawrinka will be kicking himself for that. That was the first poor drop shot from Del Potro.
That's all.
It was just too high. He's learned for the last couple of times how good he is at the lunge volley, the long legs getting across, and very, very good technique. You'd normally see Stan run up to that and just absolutely leather the ball.
Yeah, he should have turned him into a bit of Swiss cheese. Finessing his way around Del Potro was virtually impossible from the position he found himself in. He needs to capitalise on this. He is completely dominant right now. Del Potro's definitely just a little deflated. He just looked lacking a little bit of energy in those legs. And he was a little slower getting to that one.
Just a little bit.
Wawrinka.
Off the mark. And Stan has been going cross court most of the time, even with that backhand. Top spin one. Because he has been very successful when he does go down the line.
There was a sense at the end of the third set, Wawrinka sitting in his chair talking, sorry, Del Potro sitting in the chair, banging his legs, looking at his team. Daniel Olzanik, the Argentinian Davis Cup captain, actually with him, and though he doesn't have a permanent coach at the moment, Del Potro at this stage of the season, that possibly things could go away from him, and it looks as though they have.
Well, he has to do it the hard way, doesn't he, even in his earlier rounds. For him to win points these days, as we talked about, almost ad nauseum about his backhands. But it's a relative issue right here, right now. Is that he has to do it the hard way. Hopefully in time we'll see him able to really crunch some of those double-handed backhands and use it as an offensive weapon as opposed to a neutralizing. The crowd trying to energize him.
Thank you.
Yeah, whatever oxygen he's lacking in those legs, they're certainly doing their best to inflate the challenge again.
Well, often at these stages, when he's in a bit of trouble, he just finds another gear on that forehand of his and just keeps going for it. I don't know how he does it. Most players, I mean, naturally, people when they're making some mistakes, and they're down, they'll just play a bit safely and get back into the match. But not him on his forehand. So let's see if he can unleash a few monsters, or if he's just gone in the legs. Wow. Wawrinka's turn to lose a bit of concentration. Happy he broke. Feeling comfortable in himself.
Love 30.
We haven't seen that since the first set, really. A couple of pretty easy unforced errors
Yeah, and this is such a big game, and maybe he just tightened up a little bit on a couple of those backhands there, Stan, when he went to swing through. I mean, he consolidates the break, and those legs are feeling a little heavy for Del Potro. It's just going to add to the weight if he goes 2-love down in this fourth set.
Well, did everything right except the execution at the end.
All.
That's big time from Wawrinka, and that was Del Potro just giving everything into that four, and he knows that he needs this game, and that was a desperate looking shot. Rock solid from Wawrinka. It wasn't at the start of the game. Oh, well, it's been called out.
A little look at the net. The strap there probably hindering his view of exactly where it bounced.
Third backhand that's fired pretty wide of the intended target.
Yes.
Sensational return from Del Potro. He offers himself a lifeline to get back into this match.
Well, we had a sense of it in that game. As I said, he just goes for it when he's in trouble. And the previous point on the second serve, Wawrinka had a very good second serve down the middle, and he stepped up and really had a go at it. That time successfully, clean winner.
Please.
Tell you what, that was not far away from being a double full, yes. And well, the crowd getting a little too involved in that second serve of Wawrinka's.
Stupid.
It's just a sense, Pat, at this stage that if Stan can get this game, but right now Del Potro is redlining it on all fronts, mentally, physically, the shots that he's trying to take on. And if you're not in perfect position, trying to hit the ball as hard as he does, there's going to be some errors. Again, he's mixed up his attack from the middle of the court, the neutral part into the forehand of the backhand, and he gets success into the backhand side this time. And how much has Del Potro got left as he takes a break? As Stan gets a new racket.
Is it new balls? Do they call new balls? They might have. Most of the time the players go for a new racket was with the new balls. The first time I saw that was Ivan Lendl, really. He used to always have the first time I saw specialist personalization for stringing. He used to get his rackets strung in Florida and sent all around the country, around the world. It made complete sense. New balls.
Yeah.
Just go a little bit faster off the racket. Fresh racket that's slightly tighter than the one previously.
$50 love.
Jeepers creepers.
He's hit that from downtown.
It was a long way back, wasn't it? Really had a big follow through on that one. Skimming over the top of the net. Delboy hoping that he'd be defensive and just slice the ball back.
Done such a good job of being so nimble around that particular ball that Stan's thrown into the equation.
Yeah, it's almost, it's so short. It's quite good because he's forcing him to come forward, and he knows how good Stan is at passing, so he needs to hit the pin perfectly, skim it over the net or very close to the line. Going to be an occasional mistake. Well, there it was again. This time Stan wasn't able to hit the passing shot. He's almost got the shot that he wanted. Hasn't been too successful getting that serve in lately. Oh, that one. So many double faults.
30-40.
Again, Pat, though, the legs are going. They certainly haven't gone, but if they're going, then that spring just goes, the timing just goes.
Yeah, he's definitely showing signs of weariness. You'll believe if he can just hang in there that he'll get a second wind.
He's on his way to the semi-finals once again at the US Open. Surely now that is a double break to the good in the fourth. Stunning from Stan. It's been a wonderful contest. We've had a little bit of everything. We've had the subtleties of the slice. We've had good net play from both players out here. We've had some delightful drop shots off the forehand side, in particular from this man. But it has been Stan who has found the answers and is in a very commanding lead right now. Double break up in the fourth set, 2-1 ahead. It's been a battle for those lovers of raw power as well.
That's dropped. And they make you feel really good. Uncle Willie, as we call him. Viles. No, that's just pushing it a bit too much.
40-15. Let the service. Juan Martin Potro is challenged the call on the right center service line. Ball was called in. A service.
Well, he's made more than he's missed, and it's been an important shot in this fourth set for Wawrinka, the backhand down the line.
Potro has 2 challenges remaining. Game, Wawrinka. Wawrinka leads 4-0.
7 games in a row. And a couple of games away from a meeting with Kei Nishikori in the semi-finals. They've met 5 times, Pat. And Wawrinka leads 3-2, but Nishikori getting the better of Stan in Toronto.
Yeah, it was the most recent one, and I tend to think that Stan almost saves himself for the Grand Slams, doesn't he? He seems to, once he gets into this situation, this part of the tournament, he can be very, very dangerous. As you said, he's probably the player that the big names fear.
Although Nishikori, with his win over Murray today, hasn't lost to a top 10er here at the US Open. He's won all 5.
I think it might be the lighter balls, slightly faster balls he likes. Lovely touch. Balls tend to be a bit faster here in the US circuit than they are in the rest of the world. Which in theory make you be able to hit more winners. And Nishikori probably not the most powerful player like these guys are. it helps him.
Well, he's invested a lot in the last 7 games, says Wawrinka, in terms of just sort of really putting Del Potro to bed, and that's almost a literal statement given the fact that it's 10 past 1 in the morning. But he probably won't mind too much if this game goes by in Del Potro's favour. Which it does. He's on the board in the 4th. But the deficit surely too great even for a man of this immense talent and power. Wawrinka 4-1, 4-set.
Chine.
Now a couple of games to get himself through to the last 4 in New York.
Lift it up.
It's a great forehand cross court.
And Pat, sort of performance tonight as well, I think, after what was a slightly edgy route through. Let's not forget he had to save match point against Dan Evans. That actually sets him up beautifully for the semis as well. He needed this, didn't he? He's hit the ball well.
He has. He's been very impressive. Tidy up just a couple of those backhands. They're getting better all the time. Backhand down the line. He's just missed a few, but he's pulled them up pretty tight quickly. And again, underrated part of his game, the serve. That is fantastic serve. Swiss fans have somebody to cheer about when Roger Federer is not here. So can he at least make Wawrinka serve it out? Probably not a shot he's going to get a lot off against Nishikori. That really low, heavy slice shot. Attacking slice. Assume he gets through.
Well, that's what the beauty of this sport is, isn't it? To have to see different styles, different types of players that you have to get past to get yourself with your name engraved on one of these famous trophies. Stan's done it twice. He's going to give himself a shot in New York, you feel, as well.
Indeed.
40 love.
As I said, he's navigated some tricky waters so far in this tournament. Now he's got nothing to lose. I'll tell you what, he's navigated some tricky forehands as well, but no more tricky than the one that clipped the top of the net there.
Well, a couple of routine holds for Del Potro, but it's been anything but routine for him, as he's got to kind of find some magic from somewhere. It's testament to how well both these two have played out here, actually, and also the love for and affection for both of them from the tennis fans. Here we are at 1:15 in the morning, over 3 hours of play after a quite epic ladies singles as well. It's Serena 1-3 against Simona Halep, but they have still got the energy, the passion, and the volume of noise to celebrate.
Delpo's orchestrating them. I'll tell you what, it's quite a decent sized stadium. The Argentines have decided to stick it out. Splattering of Swiss fans as well, of course. And a great atmosphere.
Thank you.
Oh, this looks quite emotional down there. He is.
Thank you.
It's been a long, long, hard road back with a couple of detours as well, to be honest. It hasn't even been a straight road back. He has missed this, and they've missed him.
Thank you.
Well, we've all missed him, actually. It's fair to say the circuit has missed him. It's great to see that sort of support.
Thank you, ladies and
But the match must go on. Stan has to serve it out.
Thank you. Thank you. Please, please. Thank you.
Love. Love. Please.
Just those he needs to tidy up if he's going to, as you said, get his name on an illustrious trophy.
30-15.
If he can do that, who's to say he won't have his name there?
Quiet, please. Thank you.
Sunday night.
How good is that?
That's pretty special. Nice way to set up match point. 2 in actual fact.
15.
Great disguise. He sent Del Potro the wrong way, his side of the scoreboard, the right way.